My amp unit. Right from the jump, I'm going to let you guys know this is a double video day. So obviously what you're watching now, the Monday Night Raw review for August 5th, 2019. We're going to go over this entire show, top to bottom, start to finish, beginning to end. But in a few hours, I'm going to put up another video. And that's a dude down in NXT, a bro down in NXT, causing a lot of friction in the pro wrestling world. Not just in the WWE bubble. No, that's leaking into the AEW locker room as well. With a legend of legends, if you will. And it's getting fun if you're reviewing it and if you're talking about it. If you're the bro down in NXT, this might not be fun for too much longer because he's getting a lot of people frustrated at this motherfucker. We'll talk about that in the video to come in a few hours, so make sure you're subscribed and notified. Again, I still have people coming to the channel and saying, Amplified Man, YouTube is taking us off the channel, unsubscribing us. Make sure you're not one of them. I have no control over it, guys. This is something that has been happening on and off with YouTube since I've been on this platform. Over 2 years now. 3 years nearly. And it looks like we're going through another one of those stretches where YouTube is just unsubscribing a mass amount of people. Make sure you're not one of them. Always make sure you're subscribed and notified, especially for days like this where we're doing a double upload. Who knows? If we're really feeling froggy and we want to leap, maybe we'll do a triple upload before SmackDown. Who knows? But definitely a double upload. You never know when we're going to have those days. So make sure we're fighting back against the YouTube powers that be, man. They're unsubscribing. Make sure you're saying, nah, fuck that shit. Resubscribe. Because we're going through another fucking one of those stretches. YouTube wants to really bulk up the big channels. They don't care about the ones trying to grind it out to become something special. They don't care about the Amplified Man, nah. But we got to make sure that it's not their decision. We got to make sure that YouTube knows we're coming up, whether they like it or not. Become a part of the unit. Become a part of the unit today. And if you're already a part of the unit, make sure you still are. Because YouTube is taking motherfuckers off. That's all I'm going to say about it, guys. It is a double video day. Make sure you catch them both. But that's later on today, that second video. And again, that's going to be a fun one with this bro and a plethora of motherfuckers he's pissing off. But this video, this is our Raw review. Again, August 5th, 2019. I simply title this, The Circus Now Heads to Canada. Because that's how it feels, right? It was another smorgasbord of a lot of shit last night. It seemed to me, and it seemed this way the past several weeks, past couple weeks at least. Last night, it really got defined for the Amplified Man. The first 2 hours of Raw, just gibberish, schmazzery. It looks like there's no direction, or a lot of shit we just don't care about. The third hour last night brought all the newsworthy shit, all the hot topics, all the big-time situations. They all came in that third hour. If you were going to get pumped up at all, or semi-excited, or a little bit intrigued for SummerSlam, most likely it came from that third hour. But again, I want to start from the jump, right from the start, so I'll get to that third hour in a little bit. But Raw kicked off the first hour with a 10-bell salute, unfortunately, from the tragedies that happened in El Paso and Dayton earlier this week. And WWE wanted to honor that. So I thought that was a cool thing to do. All the superstars on stage. And the moment of silence followed by the 10-bell salute. Another moment of silence after that. And then we faded to black into a new Raw theme. Now, it's unfortunate that we even have to talk and have such a situation. But I'm glad WWE handled it the right way and had that moment. Unfortunately, with situations like that, is the crowd shows up to be energized and entertained and intrigued and really want to be fiery. It's a live crowd. And what happens in a moment like that is you're really hit with the realization of reality. And what that does subconsciously, guys, is it kind of puts you in it's a peculiar place in your dome piece. It makes a person think, maybe I shouldn't be celebrating too much, you know? Or maybe I shouldn't be too, energetic. You know, there's people that lost their lives in the real world, and here we are enjoying a show. So subconsciously, it really subdues people right off the gate. You saw that happen. Because after this 10-bell salute, we faded to black. We went to a new Raw theme. I really have to hear the new Raw theme. I can speak. I have to hear this new Raw theme in its entirety before I really judge it. because it got cut off early by Samoa Joe. Joe was on the commentator booth. So you went right from the 10-bell salute in a moment of just pure somberness, and then you went to Samoa Joe screaming on the commentator's booth to Michael Cole. The fans really didn't know, okay, do we now transition from that moment of sadness, because that's what it is, and now we can just enjoy the show? You know, it's a weird transition. And I feel like the crowd never really got back on track. And again, it's not WWE's fault. I think they handled that properly. It was a cool thing to do. Not cool. It was the right thing to do by honoring those from El Paso and Dayton, family, friends, loved ones. But when you're a show like WWE, you have to know that the crowd, it's going to take a while. If they ever do. But it's going to take a while for them to get back on track. I don't feel they ever did. Not until that third hour. Not until Goldberg showed up. And again, we'll get to that later on. But not until, I mean, that was the loudest pop of the night. A guy in his 50s who's obviously probably got one last match left in him. And that was the loudest pop. And again, we'll get to that a little bit later. But I think that's what happened, guys. There was such a, you know, we came from a tragic weekend. And everybody was reminded of that right from the jump. And again, it was the right thing to do. It's just when you do something like that, expect that crowd not to know how to transition afterwards. You know, you show up and you're all fiery, you're energetic, you're ready to fucking scream at the top of your lungs. And the show kicks off with just, you know, sadness. There's no other way to put it, you know. So I'm trying to get you guys into the mindset of Pittsburgh last night, because I know a lot of people on social media were bashing Pittsburgh. Listen, if you saw the crowd, if you saw the full arena, because I have people in Pittsburgh that sent me pics, the entire crowd was not filled. Obviously, that is a running issue and problem with WWE. Every seat was not filled. In fact, on that camera side, you had a plethora of seats unoccupied. So when you don't have a full arena, you're not going to come off as loud anyway. But on top of that, you started off with such a somber moment. You know, it was a double-edged sword. And on top of that, the first 2 hours of Raw were nothing to be entertained or excited by. So, you know, I just question, can you really blame Pittsburgh? I'm going to give them a pass for a plethora of reasons, guys. That's just the Amplified, man. I understand a lot of people are just upset with them. You should be energetic anyway. Bring life to it. But if there's nothing to bring life, if the show was that right? I mean, from the beginning, at least into the third hour, it was and that's being generous. Should I talk about the show now? All right, let's talk about it. I just wanted, that was a pretty impactful opening segment, guys. That's why I wanted to talk about it. A lot was going on. You had the 10-bell salute for the victims of El Paso and Dayton, and then you went into a new Raw theme. That new Raw theme got cut off by Samoa Joe, who's up at the commentator booth yelling at Michael Cole, demanding an apology that his besmirched name gets cleared in this whole Roman Reigns incident/accident. So you had a lot going on in that first 10 minutes. Samoa Joe is cut off, though. And by the way, Samoa Joe did say that when Roman Reigns shows up to the arena, he's pretty much holding Raw hostage. The show is over at that point. And Samoa Joe is going to take over the show. So, I like that. It's one of those hostage-type situations where, like, Joe, you know, we used to see it with Stone Cold back in the day, you know, and you really feel like Samoa Joe is going to take this show over. So it's something to look forward to. Not a lot, but something, right? When Roman shows up, shit's gonna hit the fan, shit's gonna go down. I like that. It gives us something to look forward to, rather than just one weird, redundant segment after the next. One confusing bullshit segment after the next. One nonsensical segment after the next. That's usually what Raw is consisted of. So when you can give me something that I can actually look forward to, I'm going to take that shit. I'm going to jump on it. So that was the whole first segment. Samoa Joe gets cut off by Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch just looks over at Joe but keeps on heading down to ringside. And this is where we set up a weird tag team match with the females. Becky Lynch tags up with Charlotte Flair. So Vince and WWE want us to believe that Becky Lynch is one of the hottest, biggest names in the wrestling world right now, and she's going to tag up with one of your big villains in that division, Charlotte Flair. Taking on Natty and Trish. That was great to see Trish Stratus wrestling again on Monday Night Raw. That was great. Unfortunately, she just didn't wrestle. I mean, Trish was basically a non-factor here. Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus in this weird tag team match basically / literally got no action in this match. This entire match was basically Charlotte Flair beating up Natty. That was the whole tag team match. And again, I just don't like the combination of Becky and Charlotte. But that was the match. Charlotte beating up on Natty. Now, in the end, Becky tagged herself in, because Charlotte obviously wasn't going to tag Becky in. Charlotte nails Becky in from behind because Charlotte's pissed off at Becky. How dare you tag yourself in? Because Becky just kind of slapped Charlotte to get herself in the match. So when Becky turned her back, Charlotte Flair nailed Becky, and then Charlotte Flair in true heel form walked off. So I didn't like the combination with Lynch and Charlotte, but at least they played up Charlotte's heel character and said, fuck you, I'm out of here. And Charlotte Flair heads up the ramp and takes off, leaving Becky Lynch vulnerable for an attack by Natty. Natty totally loses her shit, gets Becky into a sharpshooter, and Becky is able to hit the ropes at one point, but Natty is refusing to let go of the sharpshooter. This is obviously playing up to the new stipulation at SummerSlam. Becky and I almost said Charlotte. No, we don't need to see that again. Becky and Natty's match will now be a submission match for their title in Toronto. So they're really playing off the sharpshooter. And Natty will not let go of this sharpshooter. The ref is trying to tell her, let go, we hit the 4 count. And in the end, the ref just has to disqualify Natty and Trish because Natty would not let go. Becky Lynch is screaming to the point of nearly crying. I don't like the way they book Becky Lynch. She's supposed to be this badass, but yet you have her tap out at the Royal Rumble to Asuka immediately. This is before she goes on to win the Rumble 2 hours later. Simplistically taps out to Asuka. Then she hobbles around for the next 2 months just to get us to WrestleMania. Last night, she's literally almost crying in the sharpshooter. And she's supposed to look like some man, right? She can even take out dudes. Dude, you're fucking basically crying in the sharpshooter, and it's only been you were only in the hole for 30 seconds at that point. Fuck you gonna do if she puts you in there for 3 minutes at SummerSlam? And I know, BC, that's what they were trying to show you. Becky was hurting that much in 30 seconds. Could you imagine 3 minutes, BC? That's the story. No, not when Becky is supposed to be a predominant figure in that company. Imagine Stone Cold crying in 30 seconds. Again, I don't mean to mesh the two. You know, we do that too often. We're always comparing people to Stone Cold. Especially Becky Lynch has no business being in the conversation of Stone Cold. But that's my point. Everybody's trying to put her in that category. Oh, they're going to have another moment at Survivor Series, right? Or like what was at Survivor Series with Stone Cold and Bret Hart and the sharpshooter and Stone Cold passes out. People think we're going to get a situation like that at SummerSlam in Toronto. Could be. Maybe it's reversed. Maybe it's Natty who's fucking passing out in front of her homeland. Who knows? But I don't like to see Becky Lynch crying like that, man. It just does not fit what they're trying to do. And that's just another notch, another spoke in the wheel that is making Becky Lynch a lot less tolerable lately. Even after the bell rings and they're disqualified, Natty still doesn't let Becky go. This brings in Trish, who's Natty's partner in this match, but even Trish is like, Natty, let go, let go. Natty gets up, pushes Trish Stratus. Trish is like, what the hell? Natty takes off. Again, Natty just lost her shit. So I like that. Again, it's like Natty is just now just obsessed with now beating Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. And it doesn't matter who gets in her way or what she needs to do. I like that because she's going to have to tap into that if she wants to beat Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. So the story is coming off pretty beautiful. I like that. I just don't know if I would have a tag match with Becky and Charlotte, but at least it wasn't that long. At least Charlotte left Becky Lynch high and dry. I don't like the way Becky Lynch just looked totally weak in this match. And again, Trish and Becky barely even saw action in this match. Trish saw no action. So they did not want her wrestling at all in this match. Anyway, I don't know. No harm, no foul, I guess. You know, it didn't totally turn me off, but it was nothing that I was intrigued about. We then went into Mysterio and Andrade. You could arguably say this was the match of the night. This was 15 minutes too. A little over 15 minutes, actually. 15 minutes, 42 seconds, I believe. Something like that. I forgot what I actually calculated. But this was probably their best out of the 5 matches. That's right, I said 5. Because they wrestled one-on-one 4 times before on television. And so far, Andrade has the upper hand in 4 of them now after last night. Their first time they met was on, what was that, November 6th. That was on SmackDown. Mysterio beat Andrade November 6th. And that was the only time Mysterio would beat Andrade. Because then after that, Andrade beat Mysterio January 15th on SmackDown. Then 1 week later, Andrade beat Mysterio again, January 22nd. And then Andrade beat Mysterio yet again last week on Raw. So at that point, it was 3-1 Andrade. And then last night, Andrade beat Mysterio again, making it 4-1. Andrade has Rey's number. Rey Mysterio just cannot beat Andrade. He beat him 1 time. And again, that was in some schmaz 2-minute match. But when it comes to a wrestling match, man, Andrade has Mysterio's number. Even though we've seen them 5 times one-on-one, most of those matches, again, were kind of quick. So to see them in a 15-minute match, that was cool. And I'll be okay seeing them one more time, too. I don't need to see them a plethora more. One more time. And if you're going to let them one more time, Vince, give them 20 minutes. Fuck it. Even if you're going to put them on a fucking pre-show or something, give them 20 minutes. Let them fucking showcase. That's only some of what they can do in 15 minutes. You give them 20 plus, Andrade and Mysterio can give you even more than that. I say arguably it was the match of the night last night, Mysterio and Andrade. Now, after the solid 15 minutes of, again, damn good wrestling and some Zelina interference, towards the end, Andrade, again, got another W over Mysterio. So, I'm just happy to see Andrade starting to collect some wins. Last week against Rey, this week, and hopefully that continues. Andrade is so fucking good. He's got the mouthpiece in Zelina Vega. And let's be honest, it's Zelina Vega. I mean, fuck. It's Zelina Vega. Enough said. That's all you need to say about that, right? So it's good to see Andrade actually collecting some wins. Last week against Rey, this week against Rey, and hopefully that continues. I say it all the time with people like Samoa Joe and Drew McIntyre and Asuka and Ember. And, you know, a talent like Andrade is just too valuable and too talented to be sitting on the sidelines. He's got to be doing something epic, man. And I'm glad he's taking this series so far since November 6th with Rey, 4-1. Monday Night Raw, hour number 1, ended with Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis in the OBGYN doctor's room. I don't even know what that stands for. I'm not going to explain what this is because I'm not even entirely sure I know what it is. All you need to know is it's a place where females go to get their how you doing checked. Yeah, their how you doing. If you ain't got what I'm saying, you ain't gonna get it. So, anyway, Maria's laying on a table. Her legs are spread. The doctor's about to go in, or I don't know what he does. Goes in, checks it, stays out. Mike Kanellis goes on top of his wife. 1, 2, 3, gets the title. Runs out to the waiting room, brags. He's excited. R-Truth is dressed up as a female. And as if he's about to go see the doctor, he pins Mike Kanellis. Carmella's there next to him. They run off with the 24/7 title. I liked it. Listen, it's fun. That segment, I ain't gonna lie, as a dude, as an alpha male myself, like that was a little weird being in that setting, but maybe that made it a little more fun too. Normally in these segments, I do LOL because I love the 24/7 title. I love what R-Truth is doing with it. So there's some LOL moments. On this one, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of more like in shock. I was like, are they really doing this OBGYN shit? I was more in shock, but here's the thing, guys. If you have a problem with that segment, for reasons that are not just because it was in that doctor setting, if you just think it's not funny or whatever, then that's cool. But that is not one of the reasons that you should be trashing Raw. Listen, this whole thing took 2 minutes tops, and that's being generous. In a 3-hour show, 2 minutes to have a little bit of fun like that, even if it wasn't like an LOL moment, you know what I mean? Listen, R-Truth makes these things fun. It is a little step away from all the redundancy that's happening in the ring and in that arena. It's a nice way to step out of it. So I'm glad they have things like that. I'm also glad they're not always that weird in that type of setting, but that's what makes this title fun to me. It's anywhere, man. It could be at a golf course. It could be on a plane in the air. It could be at the OB, how you doing, doctor's office. You know what I mean? It could be fucking anywhere, man. It could be in your fucking 10-year-old's classroom. It could be in your fucking wife's office. It could be in your fucking tractor trailer, in your fucking rig that you're carrying. They could be having a fucking title match. It could be anywhere, man. You're walking into a 7-Eleven to buy yourself a fucking Slurpee in a Slim Jim, and there's R-Truth pinning fucking Drake Maverick. You know, it could be anywhere. I love that shit because, again, it brings me back to when I was growing up. Me and my buddies, we were always trying to one-up each other out of nowhere and take the title. And to this day, man, every girlfriend I've had, I've been pinning them for some imaginary championship. And they get into the game, man. They'll start pinning me out of nowhere. I'll be fucking asleep and I'll be waking up to them pinning me. I'm like, what the fuck? And they'll be running away. New champ, new champ. If you don't have fun like that in your life, man, then pro wrestling is not in your blood. You're a casual, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for us diehards, you probably are like the Amplified Man. Your whole life, you've been pinning motherfuckers. By the way, make sure the females want to be pinned, please, because that'll just get you a court case. Moving on to the second hour of Monday Night Raw. We kicked off with, okay, here we go, a little bit of Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, man. This was the only memorable segment of the first 2 hours. Lesnar and Heyman are having a promo. You know, Heyman's going at it, doing his thing. And then all of a sudden, limping down to the ramp is Seth Rollins. After his beating he took last week, he manned up. And he was going to go down there regardless and take another ass whipping. But he was going to show that he is not going to give in or give up. And he comes down to the ring with a steel chair as if that was going to do anything. The guy was Gimp McGee last night. And Brock Lesnar, it was easy pickings for Brock. Brock just totally annihilated Seth Rollins yet again. And I love Heyman on the outside. You could pick up Heyman audibly. And he was just yelling out, "Why the hell did you show up here? What the hell is wrong with you? Why didn't you stay down?" And Heyman is really adding into, like, it's not a state of it's not desperate for Seth. I don't want to say that because he's not, you know. He knows he's got a guaranteed title match at SummerSlam. But it's like he wants to show Brock that he's not going to be bullied. Nothing he does is going to stop him from getting in his face. You can beat me down all the time, every time. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm not afraid of you. So it's not a desperate act. It's just a dude who's got so much to prove to himself, but also to Brock and Paul. I'm unlike anyone else. I do like that aspect, guys. And again, I have no shade to Seth. A lot of people think I do because I made some videos recently about Seth blasting fans and even people in that locker room that are just trying to stand up for themselves and not happy with their position in the company. And Seth took it upon himself to kind of blast everybody. So I did have some retaliatory videos, but I told you in those videos, I still respect the dude. I still think he's one of the best wrestlers in wrestling today. And I want to see the best for this guy. I want to see him in good storylines. I feel he is better than subpar. There's a lot of subpar talent in that company. A lot of non-charismatic, just non-personality type individuals. Seth has a little bit. Even if it is a little bit. Some would say he's got a lot of it. And those would be Rollins fans. I'm not necessarily a Rollins fan, but I can see talent in this guy in a plethora of different ways. Put him in the right stories and make me care. There's been several that I've cared about, Seth Rollins storylines. This is one of them, man. I think this is the best Seth Rollins booking for a Brock Lesnar match, a rematch we've already seen a couple of times. I think this is the best way you could build this, man. Seth just getting beaten down because that's the most realistic thing that would happen. Brock would beat the shit out of Seth Rollins one-on-one, face-to-face, you would think, right? And that's what happened in their last match. And then at the very end, Seth Rollins was able to overcome it all at the very end. I didn't necessarily like the way that went off. I agree Brock should be beating the hell out of Seth most of the match, but at the end, if you're going to have Brock lose, something had to have happened to Brock. Out of nowhere, Seth Rollins just gets this burst of energy and beats Brock. I didn't like that. Something should have happened. Something fucking that just shocked us. Like, whoa, did that just happen to Brock? And then Seth was able to, win the match via that. So, stemming from that, guys, I don't want to get too off track, but I'm just saying that Brock is a dominant beast. Beating the shit out of Seth and making Seth the true underdog is the only possible outcome here. A lot of people on social media are like, they're trying too hard, making Seth look like the underdog. What the fuck that's real life. He would be an ultimate underdog in real life. He would be getting the shit kicked out of him. And when the match happens, just like last time, again, I would have went about it differently, but like last time, when it counts the most, even though he's taken a beating of a lifetime, Seth finds a way to win. I'm not saying that's what should happen this Sunday, but that's the story. If you're going to have Seth win, you better tell it like, wow, this guy was the ultimate underdog, because he should be. I don't even see how he should be beating Brock Lesnar this Sunday. I'm just saying in realistic talk. I don't see how. But that was the segment, guys. Brock Lesnar, second week in a row, not as vicious as last week, but still pretty vicious, beat the shit out of Seth Rollins. In fact, I think he took it easy on him, if anything, this week. So I enjoyed that segment thoroughly. It was the only segment in the first 2 hours I liked. I can't say, nothing really was over the top bad, per se. It's just a lot of this shit was just some weird, nonsensical filler. Viking Raiders took on Jobber 1 and Jobber 2. In 1 minute, Jobber 1 and Jobber 2 were never seen again. Enough said. I love Jobber matches. You guys know that. I feel like they have to start... I feel like the only Jobber matches are being given to the Viking Raiders, though. When I say I like Jobber matches, I mean like other superstars should be getting Jobber matches as well. Not just this one team for the past 4 weeks. So I feel like we're at that time where they have to start thinking of something more for the Viking Raiders. You can still have them do Jobber matches. I feel like they don't have anything for them. There's no direction for them. It's just like, we kind of got to keep them a little bit relevant. We don't have anything for them. Just have them go out and have a match with Jobber 1 and Jobber 2. Is Billy Buttfuck McGee and Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer available? Put them in there. Anyway, that was literally 1 minute tops. Viking Raiders pick up the W. We have a tribute to Harley Race next. That was really cool to see, and I'm glad they did that right in the middle of Raw. So, because again, you had at the beginning, you had, what'd you have? The 10 bell salute. And that obviously that kind of supersedes the Harley Race thing. So, you kind of see where they didn't want to have it back to back. We already talked about how it was a somber mood. And you had the 10 bell salute that really put everybody in a somber state for justified reasons. Could you imagine if they then went into a Harley Race tribute because Harley Race just passed away this past weekend? Guys, that's a little bit too much. You know what I mean? So they put the Harley Race thing in the middle. I think it was the right thing to do. I had to mention that because some people were like, wow, why didn't they mention that at the top of the show? Guys, the fucking El Paso and Dayton thing, that kind of supersedes that. You know, I mean, it's all tragic, but if you really want to show a tribute that's justified for Harley Race, let it breathe, give it some time, put it in the middle. I'm okay with that. And it was a cool tribute too, and that was really cool to see. Kurt Angle, and that led into Kurt Angle coming out in his hometown of Pittsburgh. He was a special guest referee in a Drew McIntyre-Cedric Alexander match. Now, if you didn't want to see a Cedric Alexander-Drew McIntyre match, raise your hand. Yeah, I'm with you there. You didn't have to worry because that match was done in about a minute. It lasted as long as the Viking Raiders versus Jobber 1 and Jobber 2. That match was like a minute long. Cedric and Drew were kind of battling outside when Angle is trying to yell at them to get back in the ring. Again, I don't even know why he would be the special referee other than Vince wanted to showcase him in Pittsburgh. But in just a minute, Cedric and Drew are fighting on the outside. Angle's yelling at them to get in the ring. The lights go out. we start hearing the diabolical scream and laughter and that screeching, and you know Bray Wyatt is going to be in that ring when the lights go on. The lights don't really ever really go on, but there's the spotlight. And when that spotlight hits, Angle is in the mandible claw via Bray Wyatt. I love this, guys. So I take back my words on Brock Lesnar and Rollins, because that was another pretty damn good moment of the first 2 hours. So there was 2 good moments in the first 2 hours. Wow, I'm taken back. But it was really cool the way they used Bray Wyatt taking out a legend like Kurt Angle. And it looks like he's using that mandible claw, guys. That's the 2nd week in a row, right? You had Mick Foley on the Raw reunion. Was that last week? Or 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think the Raw reunion was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, you get what I'm fucking saying. That's another week where we're seeing the mandible claw. So very cool to see. Was that last week, guys? The fuck was the reunion? That was a couple weeks ago, right? That's gonna bug me. Well, anyway, you guys know what happened at that fucking... Mick Foley got taken the fuck out with the mandible claw. This week, another mandible claw. So you have Mick Foley, one legend going down. You got Kurt Angle going down. If you're gonna bump up Bray, I'm cool with him doing the old Randy Orton gimmick and taking out the legends. You know, and the mandible claw totally fits Bray Wyatt's character. That's why I really enjoy that, guys. I think that's much more devastating than Sister Abigail. I still want to see Sister Abigail performed by Wyatt. But I think that claw totally fits that character, man. It reminds me of Mick Foley's old character, Mankind. So it's really cool to see. And by the way, and then we went to commercial. When we came back, they never even mentioned Cedric and Drew. So I'm okay with that ending that match, but acknowledge it. Tell us, oh, because of what happened and medical personnel had to help out Angle, that match, you know, was a no contest. Tell us. They go to commercial, they come back like Drew McIntyre and Cedric Alexander never even existed. Like that never even happened. What the hell was Angle even doing in the ring? It was because of Drew and Cedric. I wish we had more, you know what I mean? I just wish they told the story more. They're all about storytelling in WWE, yet I don't feel they ever tell the story correctly. Or they leave out so many parts of the big parts of the story. Minor details to some, not so minor to the amplified, man. Xavier Woods and Big E take on Gallows and Anderson. Tag champs for SmackDown, taking on tag champs for Raw. I guess that would excite some people. Just doesn't excite me. I've got to be honest with you guys. The New Day has gotten stale to me, guys. I know every once in a while I tell you guys that, and then they do some fun shit, and I'm like, hey, the New Day was funny last night again. They got stale to me. I think Big E just needs to go on his own. I've said this so many times, I'm not going to go back on that. Kofi Kingston needs to be on his own with that title. Big E needs to have his own singles run. I don't care what they do with Xavier. And now you have the Street Profits coming in. That's just like New Day 2.0 or negative 2.0. They might be even more annoying than the New Day. So they got this fucking tag match. Styles interferes early. And when I say early, I mean like in less than a minute. So basically you see these 1-minute matches. Viking Raiders versus the Jobbers, 1 minute. Drew McIntyre versus Cedric, 1 minute. Xavier and Big E versus Gallows and Anderson, 1 minute. Because Styles came in. That was a DQ/no contest, one of the two, in just 1 minute. We go to commercial. We know what we're going to come back to. Holla, 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 playa. A nonsensical, bullshit, schmaz 6-man tag match. So if you thought I didn't give a shit about the tag match, I really didn't give a shit about the 6-man tag. And I literally have nothing to review here. I gave 0 fucks in this match. Because it's a 6-man schmaz. So I don't care who the fuck won this match. I don't even remember how it fucking ended. I don't care. That's the most honest review I could give you. I gave 0 fucks. It did not entertain me. I didn't care who won, and I don't care what this leads to. How's that for honesty? The second hour ends with Samoa Joe being informed that Roman Reigns is in fact headed to the arena. It's imminent. He's about to pull up. So Samoa Joe says, all right, I'm going to fucking meet him, basically. Now, before this, it was one of those hostage situations in the ring. Samoa Joe took a seat in the ring and basically held the whole show up. He said, this show does not go on until Roman gets his ass out here. And I love those type of situations. It builds suspense. It builds intrigue. And the crowd in Pittsburgh, this is what I will get on Pittsburgh for. I'm not going to get on them that they weren't as energetic because of several reasons that I stated at the beginning of this video. But I am going to get on them for doing that stupid CM Punk chant. What the fuck is that crowd chanting CM Punk for, dude? We all say all the time Samoa Joe deserves better. They put him in something cool last night, and you shit on him. You chant CM Punk, man. Samoa Joe is out there. If you want to send a message to Vince, top of your lungs, Samoa Joe, 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 Joe. Whatever you want to get started, start it and scream it. Let Vince know you like this motherfucker. We want to see more of this motherfucker. CM Punk? What is it about this CM Punk guy that gets you so hard? This guy is like 170 pounds soaking wet. He goes to the gym once every 6 months, it looks like. Athletic talent of a fucking beanstalk. Fighting skills of a fucking tangerine. What gets you turned on? That one promo he cut in Las Vegas years and years ago? The CM Punk loving wrestling fan is one I'll A, never understand and never want to. It is so frustrating to hear these chants. What do you expect? Do you want to hear look in my eyes? What do you see? You want to hear his music? Huh? Do you want to fucking bust a load just on his musical load? Do you want to see CM Punk with his little tattoos walking down the aisle and you want to go, oh my god, it's CM Punk? You want to text all your friends and call your mom and dad? You're not going to believe what happened. Punk arrived. What do you want to have happen? In Chicago, August 31st, AEW All Out. Do you want Punk to fucking save the day? I don't get the obsession with this guy. This guy is the personification of average. Good on the mic, but average in everything. He had one awesome promo pipe bomb that they called it in Las Vegas. He was never able to supersede that one pipe bomb. He tried several times. Nothing ever came close to that pipe bomb. His wrestling skills were always mediocre, and I always have people, CM Punk lovers, trying to tell me differently, when if you just go back and watch his matches, you'll see his athleticism. His own friends in the UFC have said he never should have fought because he doesn't have the natural it factor when it comes to fighting. He doesn't have that natural killer instinct that you need in a fight. His own friends. Google the shit. So you can BC me all you want. I have the facts. I have his own friends telling you that. And yet people ignore it. They're clinging on. They're hanging on to that nostalgia. The feeling they had when they thought they had an anti-fucking authority figure like CM Punk. The next second coming to Stone Cold, they thought. CM Punk. Straight edge society. Oh, that chant pissed me off, man. Because it was so loud, you know. Every now and again, you hear a few schmucks talking about it. You know, you got some dipshits here and there. CM Punk, CM Punk. And you'll see everyone else in the crowd going, shut up. Shut the fuck up. I love that. Last night, you literally had Pittsburgh just fucking, they're like, yeah! Fuck Samoa Joe. CM Punk. Oh, fuck. Can you tell that irritates the shit out of me? Show Samoa Joe some fucking respect, man. He finally gets in the ring, gets some airtime. He's in a fucking situation. Anyway, that's how we ended hour number 2. CM Punk chants. I can't make this shit up. These fucking dick clingers to CM Punk are clinging on to this motherfucker this many years later. At this point, just show up somewhere, Punk, just to shut these fuckers up. Just shut them up because they will not let you go. They're obsessed with you. You probably still got little icons of CM Punk. They go to bed in your t-shirt. Should we get to hour number 3? This is the best hour of the show, obviously. This is where all the news happened, guys. Joe again, well, actually, all that CM Punk shit and Joe waiting in the ring was more so the third hour, I think. I think hour number 2 ended with Joe being informed of that and he was going to the ring. Hour number 3 started off with that whole spiel. But then Joe actually goes out to the parking lot to wait for Roman. Roman pulls up. And Roman's like, yeah, you want to talk shit, man, right when I get here? All right. And then Joe looks to his left. He sees a car barreling toward him. So Roman sees this car barrel. Roman jumps, like dives back into the car that he just got out of, his rental. And the second he jumps back in, this car comes barreling in and smashes into Roman Reigns' rental car. So I thought it was really coolly done. Coolly? Is that a word? Yeah, it was coolly done. I thought it was nicely done anyway. Samoa Joe is all Samoa Joe's like, what the I like what Joe did, man. Joe started going after the car. And realistically, that's what would happen in real life. Like, you don't know if that's an attack just on Roman or if they were trying to get you too. You don't know. So you're trying to go after. So Joe goes to go after the car and realizes it's long gone. So then he goes back to Roman. He starts telling Roman, stay down, medic, medic. So even Joe was showing concern. So they played it off really well. Coming back from commercial, they actually had Triple H even attending to Roman Reigns. So a lot went into that. And I love when they do stunts, man. I love when they dedicate time to a story and to a segment. Get away from the redundancy in the ring. Let's have something cool happening in the parking lot. Let's have something cool happening backstage. I love when they do stunts like that. So they did it. And I told you guys after last week's segment, Tuesday SmackDown, when the scaffolding and the light fixtures got dropped on Roman, I said, the logical way to go now is to have somebody try to run him over like Stone Cold Triple H back in the day, leading up to Survivor Series years ago. And I'm glad they went with that. You know, I'm not going to pat myself on the back and go, oh, they're watching the Amplified, man. They could be. But yeah, that was my story that I pitched this week a few times. And I'm glad they went with that story. That's the most logical thing to do here. The parking lot, I'm going to run you over thing is one of the best things to do. If you're going to have the mystery attacker, that's the fun way to go about it, man. Roman in the parking lot, somebody's trying to take him out. I loved it. And again, Joe played it off well. Triple H entering frame was a good added piece to the puzzle. So I love the way hour number 3 started off. And it looks like they're not going to do a Roman match for SummerSlam. It looks like they're going to continue that. And maybe Roman finds out who it was at SummerSlam, or maybe there's another attempted attack at SummerSlam. But it looks like they're going to try to keep building this. You got to think it's Daniel Bryan. Some people still think it's Buddy Murphy. Who knows? Maybe it is still Samoa Joe setting him up and he has somebody else. Maybe it's Samoa Joe and Buddy Murphy or some shit. You don't know. Could be a guy we're not even named yet. A guy to be named. You know? Literally a mystery guy. But I like the way it started and it continues this little mystery we got going and they're not going to rush it to SummerSlam. That's what I like. You can keep this going for several more weeks if they do it correctly. Oh boy. All right. Where do we begin here, guys? This was a fatal 4-way tag team title match. We thought we were going to get this at SummerSlam. For some reason, they didn't do it. Maybe they're actually going to have just a 2-on-2 match at SummerSlam with these newly crowned tag champions. That's right. I'll get to that in a second. Versus maybe Asuka and Kairi. 2-on-2 at SummerSlam, as it should be. Not a fatal 4-way. But they decided to do this match last night. This is Alexa and Nikki taking on Mandy and Sonya, taking on Asuka and Kairi, taking on title holders Iconics. Iconics were eliminated first via Mandy Rose. This guaranteed us new tag champions were going to be crowned last night. We go to commercial. When we come back, Mandy and Sonya are eliminated via Asuka. This is down now to 2 teams, Alexa and Nikki versus Asuka and Kairi. We go to another commercial. When we come back, Asuka and Kairi are eliminated by Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross become your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Can't believe I'm saying those words. There's so many issues with this, but I'm going to try not to get overly amplified yet. Allow me to explain. My first issue is obviously the Iconics were champions this long just to lose it on a Monday Night Raw to Alexa and Nikki. Think about that. They had the Iconics. The big reason the Iconics needed to take the straps off of Sasha and Bayley, the big reason was to hold it for several months, get the record of being longest reigning tag champions for the women, and lose it simplistically on a Monday Night Raw to Alexa and Nikki. That was the main reason Vince had to have the titles on Iconics. That goes to show you they never had anything for them. They were rarely used at all in the past several months since they've been champions. That's my first issue. My second issue with this, right before SummerSlam, you're having the titles change hands. 6 nights before, if you're gonna have the Iconics hold the belts that long, why not have it be a meaningful loss of those titles at the big pay-per-view? Why did Alexa and Nikki have to have them on a Monday Night Raw? Not even to end the show. Not even to begin the show and set the tone or pace. Middle of the show. And then, of course, the biggest problem I have with it is Asuka and Kairi, once again, walking out without any straps. And obviously, the class of the field last night. They were the wrestlers last night. Everybody did all right, by the way. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna bullshit, man. I was impressed with what Sonya did last night. Leaps and bounds. Better than a lot of what I see from Mandy Rose. Alexa Bliss. That was the best Twisted Bliss I've ever seen her do and perform. Yeah, that was definitely the best Twisted Bliss I've ever fucking... It was a badass ending sequence leading into the badass Twisted Bliss. I mean, she got some fucking height. She got some twist. So I'm not going to fault them there, man. I felt the match. I felt the match oddly. They all did their best. I don't know if that's good or not for some people, but I feel like they actually did put a lot more effort into this. A lot more was either rehearsed or rehashed in the back, and they went over it a lot. They really dedicated themselves to this a lot more. It wasn't, let me put it this way, guys. For a 4 tag team schmaz match like that, with some of the participants that were in that match, this could have went off the rails from the get-go. There was actually some damn good sequences. There was a time in this match where the Iconics were looking damn fucking good. There was a time where Mandy and Sonya were looking pretty fucking good. Obviously, Kairi and Asuka, the whole match. And again, even Alexa and Nikki looked good at times. So I can't fault them at that, man. If I'm going to say I find fault and problems in something, if there was good, I'm going to find it as well. There was in that match for a schmaz match. I just, seeing Asuka and Kairi not walking away with the straps kind of bugs me. But here's the reason I'm not going to get overly amplified. I think there's something more at play here. I don't think this is the end for Kairi and Asuka. And if I'm wrong, we're going to get fucking amplified. We're going to go off the fucking rails. Legit ballistic. I am giving them 7 days. Within 7 days, you have SmackDown tonight, you have SummerSlam Sunday, and then you have Monday Night Raw next week. 7 days, and we're going to see where Asuka and Kairi go from here. If they have something planned for them, like an actual 2-on-2 feud with Alexa and Nikki, and it leads to Asuka and Kairi finally getting those tag straps, and for some reason Vince wanted them to beat Alexa and Nikki and not the Iconics, then I'm okay with this. It's his company. As long as the end result is Kairi and Asuka get the straps. It may be longer than SummerSlam. It might be now at the next pay-per-view, but as long as they get them. But if, within the next 7 days, we see no trajectory for any progress for Asuka and Kairi, storyline-wise, or feud-wise, then I'm going to go batshit on this. We're absolutely going to get amplified, because this would have been enough for me to put my head through every single New York City cement wall. But I'm going to reserve those feelings and emotions and amplifications for 7 days. Vince wants Alexa and Nikki to have it, that's fine. I honestly believe this was Vince McMahon. This is for all the hate that Alexa's been getting the last 7 days. This is Vince McMahon, 7 days especially. This is Vince saying, oh yeah? Now we're going to put a strap on her. We're going to put the fucking title on her. So everybody that bitch and moan, this is your doing, man, because you know Vince is going to take that and think that's legit heat. And he's going to say, yeah, you got the crowd really rambunctious. Let's put a strap on you. This is great. I'm hearing you're getting a lot of heat online. It's probably why Seth is going to get the title this Sunday. It's probably why Baron Corbin was in main events for so long. They hate you online. This is great. They're going to fucking love you when we put a belt on you. It's early. I apologize for my Vince if it's not as on par. But we'll see. I'm going to give it 7 days, guys. The performers in that match, I thought they did good, though. It was actually, in a weird way, entertaining. And Alexa and Nikki getting it, I can't say I was surprised. I can't. Now we just see where they go. If this leads to Asuka and Kairi getting it from them, I'm cool. You know, did they have another fucking rematch? You know, who knows? But if Kairi and Asuka get this at SummerSlam or at the following pay-per-view, no harm, no foul. But if this is just to make Alexa look even more dominant, now she has a championship, and Asuka and Kairi get nothing, you haven't heard the last of this from the Amplified Man, I assure you. I'm giving this 7 days. Within 7 days, we'll see the trajectory of where Asuka and Kairi are going, I promise you. And you're going to be hearing a lot more from me. The closing segment for Monday Night Raw, hour number 3, and it ends with Miz and Dolph, a contract signing. You knew Goldberg was coming because what the fuck are they going to build up a rematch for the 647th time? Miz versus Dolph. Like, we need to see a contract signing for this? So you knew something was up. Shawn Michaels was kind of mediating this thing. Miz tells Dolph, I can't wait to face you, Dolph, next Monday. So Dolph is like, Monday? We're signing a contract for Sunday. I just signed my name for SummerSlam. And Miz is like, no, see, that's the problem with you, Dolph. You're always jumping to the next. You always think you deserve this, and your head's always somewhere else. You didn't even read the fine print. Me and you is Monday. You're going to be taking on somebody at SummerSlam, but it ain't me. And he looks at Shawn Michaels. So Dolph gets right in front of Michaels. Like, all right, if we're going to do this, let's fucking do it. And Michaels is like, it's not me either. And all of a sudden, Goldberg's music hits. And Ziggler slowly turns around, and here comes fucking Goldberg. Biggest pop of the night. Not even CM Punk could do that Goldberg pop justice. That was really cool to hear, man. Goldberg gets this enormous pop. And it's cool to hear because we know the tragedy that happened with Goldberg at Super Showdown. So to hear the crowd still enjoy to hear his music and watch Goldberg come down. And once Goldberg got to the ring, everybody started chanting, Goldberg. It was really cool, man, you know? Because let's be honest, Goldberg still brings back that fucking, you know, if you're going to fucking CM Punk for that nostalgic feel, then you're going to have to realize there's going to be people that want that badass alpha male to come down that fucking rampway to fuck shit up. People are going to want to hear Goldberg's music hit. So, and there was a lot of them in fucking Pittsburgh last night, man. Goldberg got a huge pop. The pop of the night easily. Gets in the ring. Dolph Ziggler runs off. And Goldberg just says, Dolph, you're next. Ooh, that was a good Goldberg, man. It's early, too. That was a good Goldberg. That was probably better than my Vince. You're next. Well, I gotta start doing more Goldberg. Actually, I think that's the only words he says. But but it was cool, man. And Dolph goes up the rampway. You thought that was the end. You thought we were going to fade to black. That was going to end Raw. Michaels comes out of left field with a hockey stick. He super kicks Dolph Ziggler's head off, his dome piece square off his shoulders, man. That came out of nowhere. Michaels came out of nowhere with some sweet chin music. Knocked Dolph on his ass. You had to feel bad for Dolph there, you know. He's trying to be a little badass as he walks away, and then he just gets wailed by, fucking derailed by Shawn Michaels. And then we faded to black, and Raw went off the air. So, I love that, man. You know what I mean? I love it because you guys know how I feel about this. Goldberg deserves to end his career on a much higher note than how he ended it. We all agree he should not have knocked himself out during that Undertaker match. I love the intensity. I love how he's always amplified, so I don't want him to necessarily change too much. I want him still to headbutt the door, but maybe not as hard, right? Don't knock yourself out, Punch yourself a few times. Do the old fucking flare chops like the Amplified Man loves to do. That's awesome. Don't knock yourself out. He's done it more than once in his career, and that's where you're kind of putting your opponent as a liability as well, because you're both now looking like clowns in there. So he actually made The Undertaker look like a fool as well. I'm sorry, him too. That's why I'm glad to see The Undertaker back as well for a few matches, right? End it on a high note. Same thing with Goldberg. I did not want to see Goldberg's career end like that. I think no harm, no foul here, guys. He goes in SummerSlam, and he gets to avenge his fucking everything that he lost at Super Showdown. He gets to fucking make up for it. And this is just going to be 2-minute squash on... Listen, Dolph's been getting squashed every fucking appearance. You honestly now are going to complain, oh my, Dolph deserves better than that. Okay, well, he deserved better than that the last 2 months then. All right, he's going to show up to SummerSlam. At least he gets that fucking match. And in 2 minutes, Goldberg will fucking end the shit. No harm, no foul. Some people are so pissed. Oh my God, another nostalgia act is going to take the place of deserving youngsters. It's 2 fucking minutes in a 4-hour show. Relax. It's going to break up 2 longer matches, hopefully. If they place this correctly, it's a nice little nostalgia act. Right? CM Punk! CM Punk! No, put that aside for a second and just watch Goldberg for 2 minutes. Spear, jackhammer, watch Goldberg for one last time. I honestly feel this is the last time. The Undertaker match was supposed to be the last time. It ended the way it did. Goldberg went to Vince and said, please, Vince, give me one more match. I have to just avenge I have to have some honor in the way I go out. And Vince is like, all right, I'll give you one more match. No harm, no foul. Let Goldberg have this. And we'll all be fucking entertained with 2 minutes of nostalgia. We have 2 minutes in a 4-hour show for some nostalgia. Relax. And if not, then I don't know what to tell you. Watch the Amplified Man's review and I'll tell you about the 2 minutes. That was Monday Night Raw, guys. Again, the first 2 hours, not much happening. Another beating on Seth Rollins. That was, I guess, kind of cool. No offense, Seth. And then the mandible claw on Kurt Angle via Bray Wyatt. That was kind of cool. It was really the 3rd hour that picked up, though. Roman Reigns, the mystery attacker, almost runs him over. You got the Fatal 4-Way Tag title match with new tag team champions Alexa and Nikki. Whether you like it or not, it's a newsworthy topic that we have to kind of watch over the next 7 days, especially. And then the Miz and Dolph contract signing with Goldberg returning to WWE to take on Dolph at SummerSlam. So a lot of newsworthy topics coming out of last night's Raw, especially that 3rd hour. I'm getting all choked up. That's my cue to go double fist some more Starbucks. I have a few errands to run, but then I'm going to take... It's not going to take up a half an hour, but I am going to reserve a half an hour to film a special video for a few hours from now. It's going to be about that broski down in NXT that's causing a lot of heat for himself. So I am going to film another video in a little bit, and that'll be out for you guys before SmackDown. So keep checking the channel. You should be subscribed and notified anyway. Another video is going to be up on this very channel in just a few hours. Look out for it, guys. It has to do with that NXT broski I'm talking about. The Amplified Man for now. That was the Go Home Show. There's no more talk. The time for talk is over. SummerSlam this Sunday. We'll see what SmackDown has in store for their Go Home Show. I'll give you another bicep. Don't worry. We'll see where SmackDown goes tonight, and we'll talk about it tomorrow morning. There it is. Ow! Check you later.